others as well. Tim Wellens on the left-hand side, wearing number 91 in the red and white. Also in a very good position. He just sails by Vincenzo Nibali with the golden helmet. And Wellens looks sprightly, just gives a little kick, drives himself into a decent place. 8.7 to go. They're starting to mix it up. There's not a lot of room out there with this 7-metre wide ribbon of asphalt that we're dealing with. At least it's a good surface. But they've got to be careful. There aren't any wheel touches out there. And that's why Quintana's called for a position. He moves up to the front. He's not necessarily going for the win today. That'll be held back for the Queen stage. And our eyes are drawn further down this order. Tobias Ludvigsen going well for Francis de Jure, just keeping the pace where it needs to be. Good time trial is he, along with the rest of that team now. 8.2 to go. They come over this little pinch point on the bridge. Clever move by Quintana. They will have more than read the course here. They take the turn, and here comes the grind, and we're starting our climb today. Quick stop floors go for it, and you can see that there's going to be some gaps opening up almost immediately as the grind starts to hit, Brian.
It is, and quick step floors right on the nose of the peloton, followed by Team Sky in numbers. Most of the other riders are GC contenders, being looked after by their teammates, but this is a huge performance.
Sagan looks like he's going backwards at the moment. Maybe he's going to regather himself a little bit later, but Sagan has got himself into a good position and is talking to everybody, and it doesn't look like it's going to be his day, Brian.
No, he was up there. He put himself in the best possible position, but at the end of the day he never had the legs to finish it off. But Stibar is riding at the front. Gaviria, then Jungels, and then you've got Matteo Trentin behind, and then Greg Van Avermaet is moving right up to the front.
Just a little bit further back, just behind Quintana, you find Nibali. You also find Fabio Fellini from Trek Segafredo in their new livery of red and black. Just about every other team, it seems, are red and black these days. Here we are then, fast approach. This is that Flanner section just after the steep sting that we were telling you about, and then all of a sudden it'll pick up to about 7%, and we'll have another flat section. We're going up in steps to Pomeranchi. It looks like it may well be a busy old sprint at the very last, but Peter Sagan is not going to be part of it. Great news, I guess, for Zdenek Stibar.
Yeah, well, Stibar is propped on the front. Jungels, it looks as if they're looking for Matteo Trentin. Geraint Thomas is lurking just behind as well with Diego Rosa. But moving up, Wellens moving up very fast with Edvard Boasson-Hagen. Nibali is also towards the front.
This is a big move. Just getting himself into position. Wellens looks extraordinarily strong today. Interesting to see Damiano Caruso wearing the leader's jersey also just coming up. He'll be working for Greg Van Avermaet. Just under 7 kilometres to go. Brian, this is nervy stuff for everyone. At least it's strung out and safer.
It is. It's they used this climb last year, and it's it's just the sheer speed that they're going up this climb at. Still Stibar at the front with Trentin, then Jungels. Just behind you've got Team Sky just sitting there waiting to pounce, but this is a very difficult tempo, but it does look as if Stibar's day's over. He pulls over. Sagan's already pulled over. So we're going to see a battle in the final 6.5 kilometres, and it does look as if Sky's up for it.
All hands to the pumps at the moment. Geraint Thomas was just doing a turn there. On behalf of Kwiatkowski. Rose has also been busy today, as I'm sure you've seen. And there is Nibali as well. Nibali, don't discount him on a day like this. He's in brutal mood, and when he's been stung by press criticism, especially after the time trial yesterday, he has this ability to bounce back. But the strongest man here, the man who seems to be moving most fluidly through the pack with the best legs, to my mind at the moment, seems to be Tim Wellens. He looks very threatening.
He does. He's sitting there just waiting for an opportunity, but it's very difficult to go on the attack, especially when quick step floors are setting a very difficult tempo as they are now. Matteo Trentin, the Italian rider in front, Luxembourg champion, just behind him, so just sitting there and waiting. The blue jersey is looking after the race leader, Caruso looking after Greg Van Avermaet. Fellini up there on the wheel of Van Avermaet, and so is Edvard Boasson-Hagen, the Norwegian champion.
Luis Leon Sanchez is also mustering as well in the blue of Astana. Don't look for Aru. We thought that potentially Oscar Gatto might have an option today, but it's Luis Leon who's just decided to roll himself into a decent place. Don't forget the 3K marker, where if there are any crashes, then those who are caught up in it get the same time as they don't lose any time to the winning time overall. And that's why you're seeing Nairo Quintana just being guided into a safe place. He'll sit there for another 2.5 kilometers or so, just to make sure that nothing silly happens. Also, he might actually just have a go, have a dig. We've seen it before. So Jungels just comes in. We're looking at Kwiatkowski as well. Staying with Kwiatkowski is Tim Wellens. And first roll. And a big mark out as well. Good to see G working so hard as well. We look further back down, and Tim Wellens has also lit it up, believing that this might well be the move. Jungels, the Luxembourg champion. It's very much like the Dutch champion as well, but it's slightly paler blue, you may wish to know. So here we are, an assembly of talent, including the leader, Damiano Caruso, who's clearly up for this in the blue leader's jersey as well. Is that Greg Van Avermaet just behind them as well?
Yeah, yes, but just look behind there, and Quintana's having to do it on his own. He had some team help, but he's deciding to try and come across. Nibali is there, TJ Van Garderen is there, but this is what Quick Step Floors are trying to set up. They're trying to set up the Luxembourg champion, Jungels, and they've set him up really well, but there's still 5 kilometres to go to the finish. But there's some strong riders in here. Will Guerin push on? Will he sit up? Is he looking for Kwiatkowski? I think he is.
He is, but I think he's getting a new battle plan sorted out. Simon Clark is in that secondary group at the moment, in the green of Cannondale. Quintana there's the leader, Caruso. Tim Wellens still looks very, very strong, and Bob Jungels kind of gives a smile as if to say no problem whatsoever. I think that's for everyone, all the other teams watching in. 5 kilometres to go, and it's Geraint Thomas on the front. Kwiatkowski's made it back on, so he will be a feature towards the end. And there's Peter Sagan, who's riding back with Edvald Boasson Hagen, so he's refound himself, and G goes for it, pushes on, wearing the Union Jack flag there, and also using the motorcycle as a foil as he pushes ever further. And Quintana stayed with them with 4.8 to go. I beg your pardon.
It's Jungels is with him, and it's Castro Viejo's gone yes, with him for Movistar. But I just noticed that Kwiatkowski, after that effort by Bobby Jungels, that Kwiatkowski went on his race radio and told G, I've not got the legs, go for it yourself.
And here he is, he's doing exactly that, and so is Damiano Caruso. Well, he'll stay in the leader's jersey if he manages to hang on to the coattails of these guys, if this is the big move. A little bit of a tap on the shoulder there. Oh dear, I do like that. Castroviejo offering up a little nudge. 4.3 to go right now. And so will it be this quartet that duke it out? What a brave ride by the leader's jersey. The power of the jersey, I think you might say.
Yeah, he's riding out his skin. Took it yesterday. Good team time trial from BMC, and he only has to sit there. But yeah, telling sign there was when Kwiatkowski went onto his radio, and obviously G didn't know what to do, whether to push on, whether not to, and Geraint Thomas now on the attack.
Yes, he's been allowed off the leash, and I'm just looking further back behind him, and he's got a decent gap, and alarm bells are starting to ring amongst those who wanted to get something out of the day. This is Matic Moric who's going for it out of the UAE team. But Geraint Thomas could be heading for a stage victory. Came here having done the Paris-Nice to his own satisfaction. Took on the Tirreno Adriatico. Must have been hugely disappointed. Big handshake behind. Is this going to be a lone victory after all the talk of sprints for Geraint Thomas? He's got the power, and I think he's got the belief, and he's not a threat overall after the time trial of Team Sky yesterday. And the three who were joining him in the push have decided that maybe not them today, with only 3.5 kilometres remaining. Can Geraint Thomas bring it home? Brian did not expect such a long push, and I don't think Geraint Thomas was expecting to be in this position.
We're on the false flat at the moment, and in Geraint's strong rider, he will keep a decent enough advantage to the riders in front, behind him. Caruso wasn't willing to work, I don't think Castroviejo either, and Jungels was left to do all the work on his own, but we've still got this kick up towards the finish. They still can be caught, but it just goes to show you, after the adversity yesterday of the team time trial with Team Sky, nice to see them come out fighting.
Yes, very much so. They want to let the riding do the talking at the moment. There's been a lot of talk around Team Sky, as you know. We won't dwell on that just for the time being, because this is the pointy end. Geraint Thomas is a great time trialist as well, and he's got a big gap. He's missed out on quite a bit of racing, to be honest. Decided to go to South Africa and do some training with Chris Froome. Apparently the weather was absolutely shocking. I was expecting nice autumnal climbs down there in the Cape. Didn't happen for him. But nonetheless, he's come back on great form. And it hadn't been for the wheel break yesterday and the fact that the team had to wait up to reassemble itself, and so got a terrible team time trialling deficit of 1 minute and 41 coming into today. And so he's not a threat overall, and so the GC men won't try and close him down. A great opportunity for Sky to take a stage win. We thought it would be Kwiatkowski. It looks like it may well be Geraint Thomas with 2.4 kilometres to go. There doesn't seem to be a stomach to fight back here. 24 seconds is the gap he's got, with just over 2.2 remaining.
You got to remember the riders behind him are tired. So is Geraint Thomas. He's putting it out, but you start to gain a little bit of confidence. You'll see that 2 kilometre to go, and it does start to kick up. Castroviejo, Caruso, and Youngos are not working. They will go back to the peloton. But is there anybody in the peloton who want to try and win this stage today and take it away from Geraint Thomas? We'll have to wait and see who's riding on the front, because at this moment Geraint Thomas looks as if he's got the power to possibly take this all the way to the finish.
Well, who else? Rowan Dennis is in a very good spot, by the way, for BMC, and that suggests to me that TJ Van Garderen is not feeling at his best. He's not been well. He was ill in Abu Dhabi, and that sort of thing knocks you back. You've seen how Sagan's apparently suffered today as well. Also suffering sickness at the Strada Bianchi, where he stood off the bike. So Geraint Thomas is fresh back to competition, and it may well be runners-up marks for absolutely everybody down there. Here comes Thibaut Pinot being guided up for Francis de Jeux in their red, white and blue blanc et rouge. 1,300 metres to go.
Starts to kick up.
My goodness, he can take a kick. Can Geraint, and let's see if he does it. Just rolling on the nose of the saddle right now. You can see that the pitch has come up, but he stays planted in it. He's got a gap of 17 seconds with 1,200 metres to go. Can he do it, Brian?
Yeah, this is going to be very, very difficult. It does kick up a little bit more. It depends on who wants to try and bring him back. You can see Cannondale in the green towards the front. BMC still looking aged too hard, but 18 seconds, will it be enough? It's going to be touch and go, because it's a very difficult finish.
It is. Rigoberto Urán up towards the pointy end with Bettiol in support. Geraint Thomas starts to approach it now. It kicks. He's already done sort of half the body of the last phase of this climb after the flat, and I think he can possibly hold on. If he is going to get caught, it may well be at the turn, which comes with only 250 metres remaining. It's a reasonably straight approach, slightly different from last year, and here they are. There's Greg Van Avermaet wearing number 1. Oh, and it had to be Tom Dumoulin, brave man that he is. Well, we've seen him sprint up inclines, and right now, don't forget, not a threat overall. But why not just put something in the bank as far as your confidence is concerned? And he's rolled off the nose of the chasers right now. And that's Tim Wellens that's being forced to push on for Lotto Soudal in the red and white just behind the green. Rigoberto Urán has looked lively. Simon Clark has been busy too. And Bettiol for Cannondale. But it's Geraint Thomas that fills our minds at the moment. 600 metres, and I think he's going to get it. 19 seconds. He's digging deep. He's got Tom Dumoulin on his case. Nobody else, after such a long day, so early in the season, seems to have what it takes to close this gap. There is Dumoulin. And we've seen him, of course, in Abu Dhabi trying at a moment such as this on a big climb. He ran out of resources. But this man, I think, is going to bring the prize in today. Geraint Thomas is going to bring it in. The little sinuous road is starting to unwind, and it's all going to be for him. It's minor places for everybody else. Quintana's up towards the front here. Pinot has had to drag himself back into that position in case there's any gaps. But it's going to be Geraint Thomas. Well, it's a gentle curve indeed that will bring him to the line, and Sky can take an awful lot of gratitude. An awful lot of gratitude from today, maybe not from the race, which has bitten them. Technical failures yesterday in the time trial, but a good time trialist is Geraint Thomas, and he's TT'd it right the way to the line to take the victory here. Geraint Thomas does it. The clock counts back. They're going to finish as a mob. Wellens wondering what might have been as he pushes on as part of this group. Greg Van Avermaet's here as well. And Peter Sagan comes home for third at the very, very last, proving that he can pick it up in adversity. Not been a well man, of course, but some big gaps will count back today, all the way back down the mountain. Geraint Thomas possibly wondering what might have been in this race after a terrible time trial yesterday. He takes a stage win and brings some joy to a team that needs it.